Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk where we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on the Collier, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
So, of course, I had my mic on mute, but appreciate everybody jumping in. Dark with a Smile, Mark Saber, 1985. This is the first stream. So, in the Dark with a Smile, you are first out the limo on my first stream on Pro Fan Hoops. I appreciate you. We are getting close to football season, and I've been saying this for a while. I was getting to the point where I was going to split my channel. So, Pro Fan Talk is going to remain my Eagles talk. And Pro Fan Hoops is going to be all basketball, all WNBA, NCAA women. I plan on doing a couple of games of my nephew who is playing in NBL 1 Australia. He is playing for the Eastern Suns. And of course, I look forward to getting into Eurobasket. So that should be fun. But the topic of the evening is I wanted to have an honest conversation about the WNBA All-Star Game. Because it should have been about the All-Star Game. They made it about the CBA negotiations. So now we're somewhere in the middle. I thought the All-Star Game as a whole, I thought everything was good except the game. I thought the game was boring. I don't like the 4-point shot, or at least I don't like how they implement it. I think the 4-point shot should be a little bit more. It shouldn't be just a flat shot. It needs to be somehow interactive, because if they just leave it as a 4-point shot at the length, at the distance that they left it at, everybody's going to keep shooting it, and that wasn't fun to me. Everybody that I've talked to, my sister called me today. She was like, "Did you watch that game today?" I was like, "Yeah, I kind of fell asleep on it." She was like, "I did not like that at all." Some people like the 4-point shot. I had a couple responses where people did like the 4-point shot. I didn't have a problem with it, but I thought that they should have done. I mean, obviously they couldn't do it this time, but maybe they'll know next time. Let me see if I can find this. Have you guys seen the LED courts? They are literally. Here we go. Turn this down. I'm gonna see if I can. Well, these ads be killing you, don't they? All right, so Indiana. All right, so the All-Star game last night. All right, so here's the perfect example. I didn't even know this was in Indiana last year. So I can use this, and let y'all in for this one, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, so Let me shrink myself a little bit. There we go. And I'll keep moving around. But check this out. Check this out. Right? This is kind of dope. Um, watch the floor. Watch the floor. The floor is like a big iPad, like a big LED screen. You can do animations, you can draw plays, you can do all of that type of stuff. Like that glass court. Look at that. Look at the graphics, all the stuff that you can do. And what I'm thinking of is if they did something like that, if they used that type of technology for the 4-point shot, maybe the 4-point shot is only available the last 2 minutes of the quarter, and maybe it moves. Maybe if you hit from one spot, maybe it'll stay there. If you miss, maybe they'll move it. I don't know. This to me is a little bit more interactive and a little bit more fun. The other one, not so much. I wasn't feeling it. I was not feeling it at all. So hopefully they could. I mean, and this was in Indiana last year where the Pacers have it. What's up, Carlos? Um, this was in Indiana last year. So it can be done. The way they set up the floor is the same way, very similar to what they do with the hockey rinks and stuff like that. They can make the transition, right? Um, and that to me makes a little bit more sense. Having the 4-point shot in there, the distance they had it at, and the fact that everybody was taking the 4-point shot in the beginning, it just made the game not fun to watch. As opposed to last year, where it was semi-serious because you had the All-Star team versus the Olympic team. So there was a little bit more competition, a little bit more ego at stake, and different things like that. I just thought that the game yesterday was a little bit too jokey. I don't expect any defense in an All-Star game. I'm not looking for defense in an All-Star game, but that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. You got to at least play a little bit. And I think it defeated the purpose. Yeah, big dog. I didn't care for it. I won't say I hated it, but they need to do something else with it, right? They need to do something else with it. So, and also, let me see. I know they showed it in this little animation here. See if they could that right there. The skills challenge. Okay. Yeah, the game was trash, bro. Um, the skills challenge. Carlos, we're gonna get into that in a minute. We're gonna get into that in a minute, bro. But the skills challenge. Erica Wheeler, Natasha Cloud, they both do the skills challenge. They pass the thing, chest pass, bounce pass, make the shots, make the elbow shot, free throw shot, and 3-point shot. I'm good with that. Got to get through there the fastest, get the time down. And Natasha Cloud had a little technique for the passes. She got the passes off super quick. But when it was time to hit her 3-point shot, she missed, and Erica Wheeler made her 3-point shot. And I'm like, so they don't have to make the shot to get the time? And I was like, if you make the 3-point shot, you should get some type of time bonus. Knock point 0.5 off the time, do something. Because there shouldn't be that there has to be some benefit if one person makes the shots and the other one person doesn't. Or else anybody could just chuck the shot out there and just be gone. So I didn't like that at all. So um, but Carlos, I know you saw you referencing what happened with what's her name? Kelsey Plum. Uh I did make a video about that. Check this out. I did make a video about that. Let me see where it is though. Let me go to my channel. And it was a short. Yeah. Let me see if I can get y'all in on this. Hold on. Check this out. Let me turn this up so y'all can hear it. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the T-shirt just United front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very that really needed to be mentioned.
I got a question for you. Y'all at the WNBA, y'all showing all this solidarity and togetherness. How the hell you gonna get on the press conference and be snitching? What are you doing? Just because you can say something, don't mean you should. That was not a good look, Kelsey Plum. Why the hell you snitching on somebody? Sabrina was right to call her out for it, but even the way Sabrina did it, she kind of joked it off. But come on now, you can't be snitching. Damn.
Yeah, man, I didn't like that at all, Carlos. I didn't like that at all. I know, and it wasn't because I'm seeing a lot of people jump on the comments and stuff like that saying that it was directed at Caitlin Clark. It wasn't. It was directed at Sabrina. Sabrina was on Team Clark. If I'm thinking correctly, Sabrina was on Team Clark. The joke was directed at her. But how you gonna start the sentence like, I don't want to be a tattletale, but, and I'm like, oh, here we go. You don't want to be a tattletale, but that's exactly what you're gonna do. What was the point of that? You didn't, I don't know. It just didn't. I know she was trying to keep it light, but like I said, just because you can say something don't mean you should. And she put her foot in the mouth on that one. And I didn't I didn't think that was a good idea. I didn't think that was a good idea. So I didn't like that at all. But that wasn't the worst thing that happened, the weekend. The week, like I said, the weekend was pretty much good. Here's something that was good that happened, in my opinion. Hold on for a second. Let me get this. Um, here's something that was good that happened. Let me see. And let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to do a little recruiting while I got a break here because everybody probably thinks I'm on my other channel. So I'm trying to let folks know that I am on Profane Hoops right now. But let me do that. Let me get my live link and I'm going to throw it in Twitter real quick and let everybody know. Let me see. We are live now on Profane Hoops. There we go. Let's try that. And Hoops Central. Yep. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. But what was I saying? Oh, there was one good thing. Here was a positive. Here was a positive from the weekend, right? Just my opinion. Here was the positive. Ooh, that's a good graphic. I'm gonna leave that up. The positive was, and I am not a Cheryl Reeves fan. I don't particularly care for Cheryl Reeves. However, what Cheryl Reeves did this weekend basically erased all of that negativity that goes back from last year when she left Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team and all of the comments that she said all the way through past the Olympics and all of the dumb shit that she done said about CC and all of this other kind of stuff. In my opinion, Cheryl Reeves going to the party, dancing with the players, doing I don't know what that line dance was, but just the video of her doing that, interacting with the players, erased all of that dumb shit that she had been doing from all last year. Totally erased it because it put her in a different light. It brought her down to earth, I thought. And I thought that was a good look because, again, I didn't particularly care for Reeves, but she down there mixing it up with the players and she looked like she was having a good time. And that's what it's all about. Shout out to my homegirl, Kelsey Mitchell, because they was trying to fire off some relatively heavy questions to her. And she knocked it out of the park. They tried to get her with the toxic fan stuff and her opinions, her being a black woman and everything going at Angel Reese. And she knocked it out of the park. I'm like, when it comes to stuff like that, race relations and trying to smooth things over and trying to not necessarily attack, but get the fans to understand, like, we don't need all this toxicity and all that. They need to make Kelsey Mitchell basically the speaker when it comes to all of that, because she speaks with a humanity and a grounded common sense perspective that they frankly really need. And I thought, with the exception of the boring game that I particularly didn't like, a lot of people liked the game. That's why I say this is my perspective, my opinion, and I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. Your opinion is your own. You think what you think. If you liked it, if you like it, I love it. But there was some aspect I didn't particularly care about. But for the most part, the whole weekend was a huge success. Everybody had a good time. And I love it when I saw Caitlin Clark signing autographs for a whole bunch of little black girls. I saw Angel Reese signing autographs to a little white girl. I was like, mix it up. Absolutely. Everybody think it's one-sided one way or the other, and it's not. Everybody kids like who they like. Kids don't see color. Kids will let you know exactly what it is. Kids will let you know if grown-ups are scary, if grown-ups are nice. Kids can sense all of that stuff, and you get what you get. You get what you get. So I liked it. Um, the only thing was to me the only down part of it was of the whole weekend was Alyssa Thomas. And it ain't necessarily what she did or her leaving early. I don't give a damn. If she don't want to be there, she ain't got to be there. I ain't got no problem with that. Be out. That's your time. And when you play in a professional sport, your free time is at a premium. But what she was sitting at a table answering questions, and then she got on a tangent about the toxic fans and stuff like that. And it was like a real downer of a conversation. And I'm thinking to myself, you still on that? Like, now's not the time. Everybody's in the same place. Everybody's having a good time. Lift the mood. And that was the one thing she was like, it was still talking about these toxic fans. And it's like, you're not dealing with the toxic fans. You're dealing with the people that really love basketball, really love you, really love the W and its players. That's what you should be concentrating on, not all of the dumb shit. But I guess you felt somebody had to say something. So again, for the most part, I thought the weekend was a success, a huge success. Shout out to Indianapolis. They did the damn thing. They had a lot of celebrities there. They had all of the players there. They had a huge turnout, very huge turnout. The influencer turnout was huge. There's some people that I talk with in these spaces, in the Twitter spaces and on YouTube. They were there on site getting pictures and like the content that they was producing, the stud buds and all that kind of stuff. I don't watch that, but everybody else was apparently. More power to them. Courtney Williams, Natisha Heidemann, do your thing. 72-hour stream, do your thing. Y'all won, y'all were the MVP of the weekend for sure. Everybody was watching that. So it was a good thing by all until they want to come out with the t-shirts. And then it just shifted the focus. It just shifted the focus. I didn't think they needed it. You making a public stand about, every time I see them signs now, I think of the Boondocks when Riley was like, "You gonna pay me what you owe, Santa?" That's what I think of when I see them signs. You gonna pay me what you owe, and a public outcry is not gonna help the situation any. That doesn't really do anything. You gotta deal with the people in the room. You gotta deal with the businessmen and them accountants in the room. And I think that um I think that they are definitely going to move forward and get some of the things that they want in this new CBA. They are not going to get everything they want. Not in this first one. My prediction on what's going to happen with this new collective bargaining agreement, they're going to get a median boost in pay. So everybody's going to get a boost in pay. So I'm thinking the new minimum salary is probably going to be, I'm just going to guess around 125 to 150. And then they're going to move the cap up. So 250 can't be the max you can get as a veteran player. It's going to be some veteran players that are going to get like 500 maybe $600,000-$700,000. It's not going to be a lot of players, but they're going to be a couple players. Every team that has a Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or Paige Bueckers or Asia or whoever that player is on your team, Sabally, Sabrina, every player's got that one player that everybody's coming to see, and that's what it's coming down to. Because I think Caitlin pretty much busted through the threshold of popularity. Now everybody's looking for somebody. Everybody's looking for somebody. There is going to be a big contingency of people who don't want to see Caitlin Clark. So it's got to be somebody else. There's going to be a big contingency of people that don't want to see Angel Reese. So it's got to be somebody else. So everybody's taking their places on the pedestal. You already got Caitlin Clark. You already got Angel Reese. Angel Reese's shine is rising. She is not up to the level of Caitlin Clark. We all know that. But it's steadily growing. Don't get it twisted. And the one thing she is doing is her social media audience is slowly matriculating over to the basketball side. All her fans are not basketball fans, but it's moving towards and moving in that direction. So her viewership and her pool is only getting bigger. That helps the collective. Now you got two major players. Asia is going to do what Asia does. Even though Las Vegas is struggling right now, that's still Asia Wilson. She's still the best player in the league. Fee Collier is still the best player in the league. I got them on pretty much even ground. Some people say Asia, some people say Fee. I don't care whichever way you fall. Like in between Asia and Fee, there's no wrong answer. I still think Asia is the best player, but right now, I think Fee is playing better as a whole. So you still got those two players. You still got Stewie and Sabrina, especially with Sabrina's performance in the three-point contest. That's how I remembered her when she went against Steph. So when I started watching the W, what's that girl that shot against Steph Curry in the three-point Ionescu or what's her name? What's her last name? How you pronounce her name? There you go. That's how people remember stuff. You remember the moments. You remember the moments. Carlos, you say 500K? That sound about right. That sound about right. That sound about right. They know that. They're not starting to realize it. They're starting to accept it. Because here's the part that's not shady. It's not shady. Here's the part where they start eating a little crow. Let me say it like that. Because for everybody that don't like Caitlin or they don't want it to be her or whatever the perspective is against her, whether the people, because let's be real, there's a lot of people that hold it against her because she was the one to get all of the attention coming out. It was her. And everybody that talked this shit about they only give her the attention. She only get in the public eye because she a white girl from Iowa. And I'm like, I'm not buying that. Caitlin Clark is not as good yet as Diana Taurasi. Caitlin Clark is not as good yet as Ella Del Don, as Sue Bird. So there have been some bomb-ass white players that were a hell of a lot better than Caitlin Clark. They still couldn't pop the top off like she does. They played in better conferences. They had more people. They had access to more things. You know what I'm saying? How come the girl from Iowa did it? How come it wasn't somebody from Notre Dame or Ohio State or USC or Alabama or Florida or one of the SEC schools or another one of these huge schools that play basketball every Saturday? How come it wasn't one of them? For whatever, and I say this all the time, for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark had the recipe. Whatever that recipe is, whatever it is, she had it. My sister told me today, she was like, yeah, last year, it seemed like they was acting like some petty, jealous women. My sister said that. I didn't say it. She said it. She said that's exactly what it looked like. They acted like a bunch of jealous, petty women. And I was like, at least I'm not the only one to see it. And I'm saying all that to say, Carlos, to your point, they finally coming around. They finally coming around to accepting this is where the cash cow. She's not the golden goose. She is the platinum goose. She is bringing everything to the table. She's bringing the viewership. The easiest example, I can give. Look at the votes for the All-Star Game, pre and post Caitlin Clark. Before Caitlin Clark was in the league, didn't they say Asia Wilson got like 95,000 votes or something like that? And then when Caitlin Clark comes in the league, now the number one All-Star vote is getting like over 1 million. It was ridiculous the amount of engagement that she elicits, that she brings. And that's the key. If you got people that are engaged fans are engaged customers. They spend more money. I'll spend an extra $20 for that jersey that says Caitlin Clark. I'll spend an extra $15 for that hat that says Indiana Fever. Engaged fans are engaged customers. They spend more money. And that's what it's all about. So hating on Caitlin Clark for whatever reason is bad for business. Do I personally think the ladies were going after Caitlin last year? I think they were going after Caitlin last year because she was the number one pick. When you got the number one spot, everybody's coming after you. Did they get a little overzealous? Absolutely. Absolutely, they got overzealous. And to the point it was laughable and everything that happened. And it was like, I made that video last year. Y'all effing with the money. Stop effing with the money. And everybody wants they want to chalk it up to, yeah, we just play physical. And like, I know you play physical, but there's a reason why they came up with the Jordan rules. There was a reason for that. David Stern wasn't stupid. He knew without a shadow of a doubt, Michael Jordan was driving the train. But Michael Jordan ain't making nobody money if he hurt. So they put in the Jordan rules. And everybody knew what it was. That's the funny thing. You didn't have to come out and say it. All you had to do was watch the game and watch how the referees called the games. And what have we been bitching and moaning about since day one in the W? Since Caitlin and them got in the league, what have we been bitching about the most? The referees. The referees changed the game in the NBA because they were the ones that implemented the Jordan rules. They were the ones that were calling those tight fouls. And eventually, and as much as the players bitched and moaned about it, they finally got on board because they knew it wasn't changing. They knew it wasn't changing. So why is this any different? Why is this any different? And people still complaining about Kathy Engelbert. And it's like, why y'all complaining about Kathy Engelbert? Do y'all know who Kathy Engelbert works for? Do y'all know who her bosses are? Kathy Engelbert, as commissioner of the WNBA, works for the owners. You can't yell at Kathy Engelbert to pay the players more. It's not her decision. Her job is to interpret what her bosses tell her. So if the bosses say, we're going to pay you more money, guess what's going to happen? All she is the mouthpiece. Don't shoot the messenger, right? She just the mouthpiece. She works for the owners. So stop it with the hate for Kathy. She's doing her job, like it or not. And I still say you got to give her not the benefit of the doubt, but you got to show Kathy a little bit of grace, because if it wasn't for Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA would be defunct. Kathy Engelbert saved the WNBA from going under during COVID. She did that. So, in my opinion, I would think that the players would have a little bit more respect for that. You could not like what her bosses want her to do, but that's the job of the commissioner. Comes with the territory. She making that check. She ain't no dummy. So, what's up, Kev? So I don't, um, I don't think, how should I say this? Because I don't know how the me and Shira talked about this the other day. I don't know how they're moving. I don't know how the player's lawyer representative is moving and what they're looking at. Now I know they're supposed to be looking at the books and all of that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, when the owners own 60% of your league, there's only so much maneuvering you can do. The ball is always is and has been in their court. And it seems to me, and this is what irks me about how they're going about it. They're going, they're they're making the wrong moves for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? They are making the wrong moves for the right reasons. All of them deserve to get that pay bump. The European players deserve to get paid more. They want a piece of the media rights and all of that kind of stuff. That is going to come. But if they think that the owners are just going to break off a huge chunk of that now, it's not going to happen like that. I don't see it happening. I could be totally wrong. I don't see it happening. They're going to get a little bit of it. They're not going to get as much as they think, and they might not like it, but it beats a blank. Because the truth of the matter is, if the players lock themselves out, if the players decide we ain't gonna play, lockout. And now if they make that decision, they're gonna make that decision after the season, right? They're gonna play through the season and then they're gonna make that decision after the season. But you know what that means? Absolutely nothing. Because they got the whole offseason to work a deal. As long as they get a deal done before the first game of the season, that's all that matters. However, if the owners don't want to come up off that money, what are the players willing to do? If they're willing to not play, what are the owners losing? They're losing money on the table that they haven't made yet, right? The WNBA players reps are looking at this situation like the past 20 something years didn't exist. I saw Portnoy's rant today talking about, he was kind of talking on both sides about they deserve to, to be, paid as much as they think they're worth and all of that type of stuff. But the bottom line is no person worth their salt that's doing business is not gonna jump into bed with something that was losing money for the past 30 years. I understand that Caitlin Clark is the golden goose right now. I understand that. And they see where it's going. They see the potential, and that's what the players are banking on. They just want to conveniently, they want to have amnesia about the last 30 years of the W. This is the 29th year, if I'm not mistaken. And every year they have not turned a profit. They just want to forget all of that, and they just want to concentrate on um um after Clark. BC and AC, before Clark and after Clark. They just want to concentrate after Clark. They want to concentrate on all the pull and everything that they've gotten since she's been here. And they are using all of those numbers to boost their position, which I find it funny because everybody and their mamas was telling you last year that it wasn't just her. We were here first and all of that kind of stuff. And it was like, yes, you were here first, but nobody cared. Nobody was watching the W like that. The diehards were there, but the diehards weren't making you money. The diehards were not filling up the arenas. The diehards would be the 1,000 to 2,000 people in an 8,000 seat arena. The diehards weren't making you money. The new fans are the ones that make you money. So what are they going to do? Because now the girl everybody supposedly hates and can't stands under the covers, low key, that girl, she's the metric that everybody's using, right? She's the metric that everybody's using. So I don't understand, or I don't know what their plan of attack is. I don't know specifically what they want. What's up, Hyphy? Peace back to you. Appreciate you. You pay us what you owe, Santa. So I don't yeah, it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, and it's my opinion. Like I said, they are going about it the wrong way for the right reasons. And they got to course correct that, and they got to be realistic about what it is they want and how they're going to go about to get it. I still think that they have the opportunity to get everything they want. It's just not going to come on this deal. If they were smart, um me and Shira were talking about this the other night. Um, if they were smart, whatever comes from this CBA deal, they can't go further than 4 years. It's got to be preferably 3, preferably 3 years, no more than 4. If they were smart, make it a 3-year deal. Heck, if they can make it a 2-year deal, do that. Because the change that's about to come with Caitlin Clark and Angel and Paige and everybody in the league now. Next year, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Then the year after that, Juju Watkins, Mylasia for Wiley. The next 5 years, they got stunners coming out of college. They got bona fide ballers coming out. And in 4 or 5 years, all of the old guard is going to be gone. And I think that's the big thing of it. All of these women that have been in the W for years and been looking at peanuts, they on their way out. The old guard is on their way out. And I think that's where some of the resentment is coming in, because they're not going to take part in some of that money. And I believe some of them are holding on just to see if they can get that one payday. I ain't mad at them for that, but you got to be realistic. Got to be realistic. They're emotionally driven, including the ones actually did. It seems like the optics are not good when it comes to that. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear no more from Gabby Williams or Fee or anybody, even the press release they put out, talking about what they built and what's going on the last 2 years, when everybody told you it wasn't about Caitlin Clark, but you want to use her metrics. You want to conveniently add her metrics to the pot because that's what's going to take you over the top. That's the value that's going to get you what you want. And she's been trying to help you, and still a lot of people been kind of shitting on her. So this is a weird situation because the public, not the public outcry, but they're doing all of that, letting the public know what's going on, buy t-shirts and all of that type of stuff. That has no bearing on what goes on in those meetings, because at the end of the day, if they decide to walk, and what happens if all of those owners just go like this and wash their hands of it? Who's going to pick up that bill? Who's going to pick it up? I don't think that they want to do that, but the NBA owners got deep pockets. The WNBA does not. If they walk out, is Unrivaled going to take care of all of those young players that aren't making much money, that don't have huge NIL deals? Is Unrivaled going to take care of that? That's a whole nother conversation in itself. Unrivaled being a conflict of interest. So you got the one of the reps for your players association is the owner of a rival league. That's a conflict of interest. And the problem with that is what happens if the owners say, we'll give you everything you want, but you got to get rid of that unrivaled. We ain't dealing with that. What happens with that? Is Fee and Stewie going to break off? Are they going to let it go? Because don't get it twisted. They worked hard to put that together. They were working on that for like what, 4 or 5 years or whatever. And it's doing exactly what they wanted to do. So what happens if that happens? A lot of variables on the table, man. A lot of variables on the table. Yeah, we talked. I didn't, Kev, like I said, man, I didn't think that was directed at Sabrina. But Sabrina, even Sabrina's reaction, she was like, why? That was unnecessary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Looking at it like that was unnecessary. You didn't have to say that, but you did. So now you get what you get. Do I think that was a dig at Caitlin Clark? I do not. I think that was a direct to Sabrina. But if enough people think that it was something that was a dig at Caitlin Clark or something like that, they are going to run with that. So my question is, if you don't say nothing, you why did you say that? You why you didn't think? You didn't think. You didn't think. Because you know what? If someone were to ask her, like, why would you say something like that? You know what she would say? I didn't think that people was going to take it that way, and that you didn't think. Of course, you didn't think that something like that was going to happen. You didn't think. You was trying to be cute, trying to be funny, and it wasn't. And a lot of people took it the wrong way because anytime you're talking about situations like this where it's super sensitive, you can't you can't be all jokey jokey. It's time for business. Keep it about business. Yeah, she is, man. I didn't realize she was that weird until I saw her little rant about the refs. And I was like, boy, you really sound like a little crybaby. Everybody getting these calls. And you see how that quickly spread. I'm sick of it. And I'm getting, they're beating the shit out of me and this, that. And then what happened? A couple days later, Angel Reese has the same rant, same exact rant. I'm just not gonna stand it no more. I don't, I'm not gonna take it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what the hell are you gonna do? Like realistically, what are you gonna do? That's the one thing I used to say to my kids all the time. And when I say my kids, the kids I used to coach in football. It's one thing I used to say. If you get mad and the same thing happens, now what? I'm sick of it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. These refs, all right. I've been trying to be nice, but I ain't gonna be nice. Okay. So what if they tee you up and they kick you out of the game? What does that help? And then you get fined? What are you gonna do? There is going to be more bad calls coming. And if you get the bad end of a bad call, what are you gonna do? You gonna walk off the court? Nothing. You ain't gonna do a damn thing. You're gonna be pissed off on the court again. You're gonna run your mouth, and then you're gonna keep playing. Because you still got a game to play. I came up in the era where they was like, stop worrying about the refs. Never in the history of ever has a ref changed his call because you was bitching at him. Never. Plummet does have a bit of jealousy with Cece though. Had the NIS listed when she was in school, she would have been better off on it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. But that's the you can't do nothing about that. That ain't Caitlin Clark's fault. That's more of that petty jealousy, like my sister was talking about. And I get it. We did the same thing. We did the same thing when I came in the league, what the league minimum was, and then The old heads when I got in the league was like, man, we couldn't make that type of money. We had to get second jobs and blah blah blah. And now I look at what these kids are making now. Shit, if you played 1 year in the league, you good for the next 4 or 5 if you play your cards right. You couldn't do that back in the day. Now you can. You play 1 or 2 years in the league, and depending on what position you play and how you handle yourself, you set for the next 4 or 5 years. You can make that work depending on the situation, but you understand my point. The money is just different. Minimum salary in the NFL is 750. So you can make 750. And then somewhere in there, you're going to get an NIL deal. And somewhere in there, you're going to get endorsements and going to get free shoes. And it's all part of the package now. So where you had to make those deals yourself back in the day, you ain't even got to do that anymore because it comes with it. Comes with it. So, yeah, Kelsey Plum is all right, but my point is that, if her net worth is 2 million, she probably should be making 14. But this is the era that they're in, unfortunately. And we used to say that, unfortunately for me, I played ball in the wrong decade. Unfortunately for me, when I went to school, even though I'm into computers and graphics and all of that type of stuff, and I understand the technology, I went to school too early. I was born 4 years too early. As much as I'm into computers and stuff like that, and I was in school before Windows 95 existed. I'm a DOS baby. But the stuff that I know, and I say this all the time, I used to tell my sisters this. I wish I would have had a teacher that could have taught me programming in a way that I could have understood it. I remember taking basic when I was like in 7th or 8th grade. And then when I was in high school, I tried to take a computer programming class, and the only class they had was freaking Fortran. Could nobody understand that shit? But I'm saying that just like teachers and coaches, everybody gets a teacher or a coach for whatever reason. You connect with that teacher or that coach, and you get something from them that you didn't get with others. And that's how you learn. That coach or that teacher could talk to you in a way where you got it. Whatever they was trying to get to you, you got it. You understood it. And I wish I would have had a teacher that could have got me to understand programming. Sky would have been the limit. But what I do with computers and my graphic knowledge and 3D, and if I knew how to program, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I know I'm off the beaten path, but my bad. So I tried to write my first. I'll never forget this. I tried to program my first computer game when I was in like the 6th or 7th grade because I was into adventure games. So I pulled out a piece of paper and I made me a map and I made me an adventure game, and everything was an if-then statement. So I had if-then statements, but I didn't have nobody to teach me about nested loops and all of that type of stuff. I didn't have nobody. I was trying to do it on my own. The Cavender twin. Oh, dude, the Cavender twins. That's, bro. Yeah, but let's be real. Let's be real. Um, let's be real. We all know why the Cavender twins are make as much as they make. They bikini models. They're both the twins, good looking girls, always on somebody's beach, always wearing a two-piece, and they happen to play basketball. They are average basketball players at best. They are all right. They are not that great. Because if they were great basketball players, University of Miami would be a hell of a lot better. They are pretty faces. They look good in the two pieces. And they're not afraid to show you the backsides. Keep it above. That's why they get their NIL deals, and that's why they make the money that they make. Not because they can shoot jumpers. You ain't heard not their thing about the Covender twins coming out and playing in the W. I have not heard that one time. They're not good enough. They're not hardly good enough. So I didn't really know about Kelsey Plum. Listen, I told this story before. The first time I saw Kelsey Plum, now I knew about her because of everything that happened with her ex-husband, Darren Waller. And I know that because he played for the Giants and then he was with the Raiders out in Vegas. And then so I know that whole story because of him and him being in the NFL. I make that connection. The first time I saw Kelsey Plum, though, the first time I saw Kelsey Plum, I thought she was a flag football player. I didn't know she was a basketball player. I saw Kelsey Plum. She was at a Lakers game, or I think it was a Lakers game, whoever's basketball game it was. They brought her out at halftime and she was chucking t-shirts into the crowd. And there's one clip where she sees her dad and she's like, "Get my dad." And she chucks one like a quarterback up to the suites. And she hit it. She nailed it right on target. And I was like, "Oh, she got an arm. She must be a football player or something." I had no idea that was Kelsey Plum. I think that may have been her rookie year or something like that. And it was I want to say it was at a Lakers game. I don't know. I don't remember. But that was my first time seeing Kelsey Plum, and I was like, "Oh, she a basketball player. My bad." Because the first time I saw her in a game, I was like, "Wait a minute, that's okay." Oh, then it clicked. So I mean, I guess theoretically she could have done that, but it's just, y- I'm sorry. That's the luck of the draw. You were born too soon. A couple of years. Me and my sister talk about that all the time. When I played football, I set every rushing record in the OBC at my school. I'm an Eastern Kentucky Hall of Famer. I'm a, I'm on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame. Um, I broke every damn rushing record, one AA rushing record. If they had NIL back then, I would have been making money. They didn't. Sucks for me. Sucks for me. That's just the way that it goes. And some of the women are, it seems like, I always got to say it like that, it seems like, or the optics are that they are jealous that these young guns are coming in. Paige is coming in and getting it done. Why you think so many of the rookies don't play? And when I'm watching the games, I'm like, I know she better than her. Why is Alyssa Peely getting cut from Minnesota? Wh- Why is Sanaya Fagan on the bench? But you see what happened. Look at Sonia Citron and Kiki. You could have that at every team, but you ain't gonna have that with the old guard there. You're not gonna have that. You think Dewana was happy that she was getting outplayed by Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham? Come on, keep it a buck. Keep it basketball. You can spend it all the way you want to spend it. She could have stayed, but she didn't. So it's just a weird time, and they got to get their shit together. If they want to get what they want to get, I hope they know what they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing because these negotiations are never quick, and I guess that's my thing. Like it, it looks like they have already decided that there's gonna be a lockout, or I guess I don't know, is it a holdout, or they are prepared to not play. That's what it seems like to me. Now, even though we got a very long time before we have to come to that conclusion. Like people forget, like they are going to finish this season and then they're going to negotiate during the whole off season. So they got a long time to get this deal right. So I'm not worried about so much if they're worried about walking out. They're just doing a lot of posturing right now. And sometimes I'm looking at them like y'all don't understand how the sausage is made because you are not in you act like you are in a situation where the owners are mad if they can't have a product. That doesn't hurt the owners. The owners are getting paid from their NBA money. Whatever money they would lose from the WNBA is a drop in the bucket. If the owners who own 60% of the league and still subsidizing $40 to $50 million a year, it was 15 to 25 million. Then the planes came in and that was another 25 million. So you're talking about for the past like 27, 28 years, it was roughly anywhere between 15 to 25 million a year that was subsidized. The NBA was giving that to the W. And when you think about the amount of teams and the NBA only giving them 15 to 25 million, that really ain't a lot of money. And they couldn't turn a profit. They couldn't, they were losing, but they kept forcing the issue. The owners did. The owners kept paying. It's a tax write-off. Somebody said that before, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a tax write-off for the WNBA, for the NBA. It is a tax write-off because they've never been profitable. That's the piece of humble pie that the players' reps have to take. You can't forget the track record. You cannot do that. You invite somebody to your house, and every time you invite that person to your house, they steal something out your house. And then when they finally get themselves together, they mad at you because you're reluctant to invite them back. That's what this is. You ain't turned a profit, and you had some of the best players ever that couldn't captivate an audience or keep it. Diana Taurasi could not keep an audience. Candace Parker could not keep an audience as good as she was. Candace Parker, in my mind, is the GOAT. She was the best to ever play. Some people say Maya Moore. I don't care who your answer is. There's no wrong answer. The point is that those players could not captivate an audience and keep a consistent audience enough to get TV deals and to get people to go to the arenas. And even they couldn't do that. And they were the best to ever do it. There ain't nobody that was better than Candace Parker. Wasn't nobody better than Maya Moore. That whole group, you can pick who you want to. The best that if you like Taurasi, go for it. But Diana Taurasi couldn't even break the threshold. Diana Taurasi didn't make nobody move to a bigger venue. Asia Wilson didn't do it. Ella Del Don didn't do it. Now you got somebody to do it. Now you got somebody to do it. Are you talking about Kelsey Plum? That was okay. The San Antonio Stars. That's right. Okay. I knew it wasn't crazy. I just was like, oh, she must be a football player. She got a pretty good arm. She knew how to throw and the whole, yeah. So it's a different mindset now. And I want to see these women get everything they want. Unfortunately, it's not going to come in this first deal, I don't think. I think they're going to get a marginal bump in pay, and they're going to get some of the things they want, insurance and stuff like that. Stuff that has to be like there's no negotiation. We have to have better insurance. There's some things like that on the list, and they're going to get some of those. But the big thing is they want the bump in pay. I don't think they're going to get the 50% share of media rights. Ain't no way they're going to get that. No way they're going to get that. But they will get something. And it'll be a boost until they go to the next agreement. And then they'll have more data that falls on their side, because I don't think the popularity of the league is going to go down. They've reached, the visibility has gotten to it's plateaued. And by plateauing, that means it's at the ceiling, but it's still at altitude. And everybody sees it. Because now you got the celebrities that want to come to the games. They're not asking celebrities to come to the game. They want to come to the games. They showing up. people bringing their families, and right now, the best team to go watch, in my opinion, is New York. New York is doing the damn thing, and a close second is Golden State. Golden State is embarrassing LA Sparks because every Golden State game is packed. Then you got Indiana, and then whoever else you want to put in there. Maybe Phoenix because they winning. But keep it a buck. It wasn't like that before. They just now got this. This is new for them. This is like the movies where somebody takes the nerd and they make them the pretty girl. The pretty girl don't know how to handle it. She never had this type of attention before. That's what the W is going through. They ain't never had this type of attention before. They're not used to the bad stuff that comes with being mainstream. They've proven that. Worrying about toxic fans is, hey, y'all know me. The only winning move is not to play. The more you talk about it, the more you're going to get it. And now you seeing more and more. Now they're getting comfortable enough. They want to say stuff to the people sitting courtside. And it's like, listen, if somebody's bugging you and they sitting courtside, as long as they're not saying nothing disrespectful, you got to eat it. You got to deal with it. If they want to boo you and talk shit to you, that's what fans do. But if every time that somebody say something to you or call you a bum, you want to get them kicked out of the arena, that's not going to work. Because what's going to end up happening is, watch, they're going to start writing clauses on the back of the tickets. Watch. Because it's too easy. If you sit in courtside and you want to talk your shit as a fan, you can record what you say and let everybody know, like, I didn't say nothing disrespectful. I got it on tape. So what you want to do? And it's going to be a bad look because it's going to be somebody going to say something. And we done already had 2 incidents where the crowd was doing something that was proven untrue. We done already had 2 situations like that. And it was very embarrassing for the WNBA. You investigating and nothing to investigate. And Ray Charles could have figured that one out. Stevie Wonder could have saw that. It was some bullshit. But nobody did their homework. And that's a problem because it's a bad look. Vernon Maxwell, oh my God. Vernon Maxwell? Why would they do that? Oh my God. Tyler, I get that. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. They talking about they looking at the books and all the money that they got coming in. I'm like, that's great that you can figure out all of that. Who they paying? Because you got 28 years of losing money. Somebody want their money back. And now they have an opportunity to get it. And you probably gonna pay interest. That's how it works. That's how it works. You know what, Kev? In all seriousness, Indiana plays at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and I know there's a couple other teams that play in NBA arenas, right? And if you have any type of modern arena these days, the security is adequate. When I was in Scotland, we played at Murray Field. This is 1993. We played at Murray Field in Edinburgh. And at the time, that was a new rugby/soccer stadium. And one of the things that they had a security system where the cameras could zoom in on every seat in the stadium. Everyone. So you could zoom in, you could know what section, what seat. If somebody was acting out of line, they could send security to that exact location. What makes you think they can't do that now? So all of this stuff that people are bitching about and talking shit with the fans, it is very easy to zoom in and figure out what was said. Anytime you're doing a broadcast, it's hot mics everywhere. Not to mention, a lot of fans are looking to start trouble anyways, and they'll record it. They'll record it. There's always somebody recording on their phone, and you're gonna catch something. So if it was out of line, stuff like that would make its way to social media with the quickness. So when something like that happens with a fan and one of the players on the court, and you don't see anything on social media, that means it wasn't nothing there. That means it wasn't, whatever was going on wasn't that serious. Because if it was, based on the history, the people around you will call you out. Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said it. Get him out of they the people around you will co-sign and get you kicked up out of there. And that's the way it should be. But they've got everybody on tape, everybody on camera, and they can figure that out. They don't need Vernon Maxwell, bro. They don't need Vernon Maxwell. So I really hope that going forward, they do less talking. I don't need to see t-shirts. I don't need to see, you don't have to hold up a sign after every interview, because what that'll do is that'll get people sick of it. The same way that in the NFL, they got sick of, remember everybody was taking the knee, and then eventually it started out as a good thing, and then everybody got sick of it. So they gotta pull back on the public outcry, because the public can care less. And I think what they still don't fail to realize is if they just walked away from the league, let's just say they walked away, um, the NBA owners wouldn't miss a beat. They'd be mad at losing out on the potential, but ultimately they'd be saving money. That's the truth of the matter. They'd be saving money. So we'll see what's gonna happen, man. We see what's gonna happen, man. But listen, I'm about to get up out of here, man. I just wanted to get into that. That was a good conversation, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody for jumping on, man. This is really my first stream on Pro Fan Hoops, so I'm gonna be doing more of this. I gotta build the audience, and I gotta get to getting. I gotta get to getting, because football season is right around the corner, so I gotta make that split. So I'm moving. Just think of my house is full of boxes, and everything's moving over here. So, but I appreciate everybody for coming through. Spread the word, man. Spread the word. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Appreciate y'all though, man. Appreciate y'all. Kev, Tyler. Um, I gotta find out when my nephew is playing. Um, and by the way, I just started. Let me I can show y'all this. I just started. I created a third channel. Pro Fan Golf is in effect. Now I haven't done anything. I haven't recorded anything. Um, there's nothing on that channel. I don't have a screen name. I ain't got nothing. But Pro Fan Golf. Matter of fact, I am making a video right now, a golf video from last week when I went to the driving range. So I just edited that video. I'm waiting to sweeten it up. What's up, Heather? Thank you. Good talk. Tell your friends to subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe. We trying to grow. We trying to grow. So I don't have any subscribers on Pro Fan Golf, but I don't have anything up yet. I just created that tonight. So I'm gonna put a couple videos up on it. But I gotta continue to get the move for Pro Fan Hoops and Pro Fan Talk together. So we making it happen, y'all. We making it happen. And I appreciate y'all coming along the way. And we're gonna keep this thing moving. But I am so very excited because football season starts next week. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Go Birds. You already know. So I'm gonna get up out of here. I am interested and very excited for the second half of this WNBA season. One thing we ain't even get into tonight. We ain't even get into it. Caitlin Clark is probably gonna be out for the next month. She's probably gonna be out until mid-August, if not for the whole month. And I'm good with that. Let her come in the last maybe 10, 12 games, get back in shape to make that push for the playoffs. So guess what? We're going to see a lot of Kelsey Mitchell, a lot of Ari McDonald, a lot of Lexi Hall, and a lot of Sophie Cunningham. Natasha Howard, you've been playing quite well. Continue doing what you're doing. Damaris Dantas, you got to do a little bit better with them jump shots. Aaliyah Boston, keep doing what you're doing. And I need you to hit that spin move with the fadeaway jumper just a little bit more. Thank you. So, yeah. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. Thank you for everybody tuning in. And do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell your friends about me. Everybody that's interested in women's hoop, send them my way. Send them my way. And I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.